Tonight on CTV, protests held by Fort Collins community members, rallies for people under DACA.
We look more into the noose that was found hanging in Newsom Hall.
A food truck rally that is sure to delight everyone's taste buds.
And a cat shelter that's doing something special to help out Houston.
All that plus weather, sports, and entertainment, starting now.
Hello and welcome to CTV Thursday News. I'm Marlo Lundak.
And I'm Amelia Castaneda, and here are today's stories.
The start of the impeachment process for ASCSU President Josh Silva is underway, and ASCSU Senate was canceled this week so they can go over the procedure. The impeachment process was started last week when Senator Nordstrom announced a petition for impeachment on grounds of not following protocol when he negotiated a deal with the Wall Street Journal without consent of the Senate. The petition has gotten 26% of the Senate's signatures, which has surpassed the 20% required to move forward. The next step is a week-long period where Nordstrom can make changes and additions to the petition, as well as allowing other senators to add or retract signatures. We will have more on the impeachment process as it continues.
On Tuesday, the Trump administration announced the end of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, impacting the lives of 800,000 people, including 189 CSU students.
CSU students, families, and members of the Fort Collins community participated in a solitary rally held in front of Senator Cory Gardner's office in support of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, also known as DACA.
We wanted our voice to say today is that we support our DACA youth. They are an expression of our dreams. They are the reason why so many of us left our homes and came to the U.S. And want a better life is because our kids deserve it. Our DACA youth deserve to be here.
Opponents of DACA say this was an unconstitutional act by President Obama, and that by terminating it, it is ensuring a more effective immigration system. Others call this a violation of American values.
Promised the dreamers that they were safe and now rescinded is something that doesn't represent who we are as Americans.
At the moment, Governor Cory Gardner and Senator Michael Bennet said they will be supporting and co-sponsoring the DREAM Act.
Public support with Michael Bennet in the DREAM Act. They are both co-sponsoring it.
One dreamer has hope.
When we get through it, there's a lot of outrage, and we have a lot of support from celebrities to different allies to politicians. So I strongly believe that they're not just going to leave it at DACA ending, hopeful that something else like maybe the DREAM Act will be passed. I think we just have to be hopeful and strategic as to how we go about being prepared for the worst.
The Trump administration gave Congress 6 months to find a legislative solution. DACA students are hoping for the DREAM Act to be that solution.
CSU Public Safety Team sent an email to CSU students and staff with information about 2 assaults on individuals that occurred over the weekend. The assaults were reported as physical but not sexual in nature. The public safety team is asking if anyone with information to please call 970-491-6425. If any students feel unsafe walking home at night, there is a program called Safe Walk that is set up by CSUPD to provide safe escorts in and around campus during the nighttime hours.
Controversy has been stirred over the presence of a noose that was hanging in the halls of Newsom dorms. Our correspondent, Elia Gorlick, has the story.
On August 19th, Elijah Thomas found a noose made of crepe paper hanging from the stairs of his Newsom Hall. Thomas is the only African-American resident on his floor, as well as a resident assistant for Newsom Hall.
When asked if he saw any signs that something like this would happen, Thomas responded, "When you're the only individual of color in a given space, it's hard not to imagine stuff like this happening."
Tony Frank responded publicly by saying, "The only purpose one could have is to intimidate others, to frighten them, and to divide us from standing together. That won't work at Colorado State."
Thomas said that after the event, it took him and his residents a bit to feel comfortable around each other, but after a while they began to mesh, and he's now developing relationships with them.
Here's what some students on campus have to say about the stunt.
I don't think that was racially motivated. I think that was just some people that were just making poor decisions, but I don't know, it definitely could have been. I don't really know the intent, but no, I don't think.
Do you live in Newsom Hall?
I do.
Has there been any change in the atmosphere since the event?
Not recently, but when we first heard the news, everyone was really quiet about it and just a little different.
Has there been any change in the atmosphere since the event?
Not recently, but when we first heard the news, everyone was really quiet about it and just a little different.
Has there been any change in the atmosphere since the event?
Not recently, but when we first heard the news, everyone was really quiet about it and just a little different.
As far as next steps go, Tony Frank sent out a campus-wide email stating, CSUPD launched an investigation into this incident, but at this point doesn't have enough evidence or information to go forward.
Now here's Amelia Gorlick reporting live from Newsom Hall.
I'm here at Newsom Hall to talk about an event that occurred a couple of weeks ago. When Elijah Thomas first saw the noose, he immediately thought to take a video and post it on social media. With social media being so closely tied to social movements these days, the video went viral, pushing administration to take actions further than just denouncing the act to the residence hall. Thomas recognizes that social media has an important impact on human rights issues, but sees that recognition of this act alone will not suffice, and that lack of action and organization will leave this social movement immobilized. Also, amidst recent uprisings of white supremacy across the nation, it's very important that we're talking about racism, why it's wrong, and making it less of a taboo subject. Thomas has a hard time believing that this will happen if acts like this continue to go unpunished. No further action is being taken at this point. Back to you at the studio.
Thank you, Aaliyah. A Colorado State University police officer is critically injured after being dragged by a vehicle around 2 a.m. this morning near Prospect Road and Whitcomb Street, according to a report from 9 News. The CSU officer was conducting a routine traffic stop on 21-year-old Dominic Charles Jackson when Jackson showed the officer a gun and attempted to flee the vehicle. According to the report, Jackson then dragged the officer by the vehicle for a short distance until the vehicle came to a stop, and Jackson was taken into custody. The officer's name has not yet been released. Both the officer and Jackson were transported to the hospital.
Businesses in Fort Collins still continue to help out the Houston area. One local animal shelter is doing what they can to support the feline community in the flooded city.
We are both a adoption guarantee limited admission cat shelter, and then also a spay and neuter and low-cost vaccine clinic for dogs and cats here at Fort Collins Cat Rescue and Spay Neuter Clinic.
The Fort Collins Cat Rescue and Spay and Neuter Clinic has been around since 2006. Every year, the clinic adopts out over 2,000 cats and kittens and spays and neuters over 6,000 dogs and cats.
You are enormous.
The clinic regularly partners with the Rescue Pets movement based out of Houston, who is in need of a little extra help since Hurricane Harvey.
They contacted us following Hurricane Harvey to see if we could take in some of their cats and kittens. And so they were trying to clear out their shelters so they could then take in the flood victims. And so what we're taking is some kitties that are already ready for adoption. They're arriving here Friday afternoon and will be available for adoption immediately.
The Fort Collins Cat Rescue will be receiving a total of 52 cats and kittens, 40 of which will go to foster homes upon arrival. The clinic will also be hosting a special event this weekend only.
We had a very generous sponsor agree to cover all of the adoption fees for 3 days this weekend. And September 8th, 9th, and 10th, Tour de Cat is what we're calling it, in which all adoption fees are going to be waived, and those Houston kitties are going to be arriving.
The Fort Collins Cat Rescue says they aren't done after this weekend. They plan on getting another arrival of cats from Houston in the upcoming week. For more information on fostering and adopting cats, the Fort Collins Cat Rescue and Spay and Neuter Clinic, you can visit www.fccrsnc.org. That's all we have for news. Stay tuned for weather, sports, and entertainment after this.